Hey everybody, this is Mrs. Calhoun, and this is part 2 of our first project in Photoshop. We're making a sort of like a comic strip format for our avatars, so you can learn how to change the canvas size of a file, and the image size, and then learn how to alter shapes, add text, type text on a path, add color, and I think that's probably enough for one day. So, okay, let's get started. Going up to File, New. Make a new document, but this time you can just start from scratch, going over to inches. Make it, let's say 15 inches by 3 inches. And we can do like 4 panels. You can change this. I'm going to say resolution 180 and leave it RGB because we're not needing to print this. I'm just going to call it avatar narrative. You can call yours whatever you want. Create. Okay, I have a really long, narrow thing here. I'm going to divide it into 4 panels with color, so you can zoom in whenever you need to. I'm going to go over here on the side, do rectangle tool, and choose some fun colors. Like, I tend to like oranges and things, so I'm going to do kind of like I did on that practice one. Shape 1. Click off of that. Do another one in a somewhat different color. I could just duplicate that shape and then change the color to make sure it's all the same size, but I'm not going to do that right now. Move that down a little bit with the move tool. Okay, I'll just show you. We'll just duplicate a shape. So if you click on the shape and hold down Alt, the Alt key, a double arrow will come up and you can just click and drag. Then I have this other shape. I can go over here, change the color on it to really whatever I want. That's too dark. I can just use one of these swatches, or yeah, that's fine. Kind of going with this palette. Then I'll duplicate this again, and I see I have some leftover space on the side, so I can crop my image in a minute. But first I'll deal with this, make it, I can go over here and just select, like, create an actual color, whatever color I want. I'm going to do this kind of yellow. So you can drag this thing on here to change the colors that are showing, and then you can move around here to get the tint or hue how you want. So a little bit more yellow should be good. Okay, great. So now I have this color palette here. Close that. Okay. This is longer than I wanted. These are all pretty much the same size. So I'm going to go over to my crop tool, which, where is my crop tool? Here it is, crop tool. It was underneath perspective crop tool. I'm just going to do this and double click. Now it's how I want. Okay. Now I can go up to open the avatars the way we had them before. So this is the part where you can just add different characters. Don't use these ones that are already made. Make your own. Doing something kind of similar to last time. Getting a face. Okay, that's enough for now. Clicking and dragging just like before. I'll put a little person right here. I feel like this is a little bit bigger than what I wanted compared to the avatar. So here's a good chance to practice things. What will happen if I just scale up? If I just click on the corner here, well, I can distort it. I don't want that. And also, when you scale things up, they lose their, they just get really pixelated. So Control Alt Z will undo. So never scale up an item that is not a vector object. Just never do that. It's bad practice. What you should do instead is maybe reduce everything else down. So I can click and hold down the Shift key to select everything I want to select. So I've Shift click on all of these, and then I Shift hold down the corner to make them small enough. That's probably a good size. I'll do that. Okay, and then Enter to stop that. Now I'll crop this again some more down, because the avatar files are really, really small, so that just constrains what we can do. I'm going to put this down here. Perfect. I want a white border because I like white borders. Oops. Okay, and then double click. Okay, now it's Control Plus to zoom in. Okay, so I've got my little character here. I'm gonna get some, close that, get some hair. Okay, so we already covered this stuff last time, some of this, but we're gonna do a few things we're gonna add a few things today. Let's put this face on here. Going over here. Okay, great. So we have this little person. Now, if we wanted to add color to any aspect of this, I would just need to get it in the right position. Okay, we're zoomed in far enough that it's pixelated. Okay, so now the Magic Wand tool. This is an important tool that you can use to select an area that is all the same color, or you can do either contiguous up here. That means everything that's connected, or not, and it will do everything of that color in the same layer. That's an important distinction, and we'll kind of cover that a lot coming up. But first I want to make sure the layer that I want is selected. So I'm doing the hair. Going to the Magic Wand tool, I'll click contiguous. It doesn't matter for this because there's just one little shape, but that'll make sense later. Then you go over to, it's all white, so it doesn't need a high tolerance. I'm going to put it on just 10. And then I'm clicking in there. You can see like a little squirmy little worm line along there. That's the edge of the area I just selected because it's all the white in this layer, which is my hair layer. I should double click and just call it hair. Okay. Oops. Now I have to do it again. Okay. So now I'm going to make this hair. I'll make this hair kind of like a red color. So I clicked on this red, and now I'm going to go to my fill tool. It's under the gradient tool. It's the paint bucket. So I go to paint bucket. So down here on the left side, and click in this. Why did it not work? That's weird. There we go. Okay. It's wherever the arrow is that's going to fill it in. And because I only have this area selected that I chose with my magic wand, if I go anywhere else, nothing happens. It's only going to work within that area. This becomes really important. Anytime you're trying to color areas, you want to make sure you have the right part selected to color. So now I can just deselect that, and I have some nice hair. I could do the same thing with the body. With the now I have a lot of separate areas here that are all white, but they're separated. So let's color the tank top. I'm going over to Magic Wand tool again, and because I have contiguous clicked, if I click on the arm, only the arm is going to be selected. If I click on the tank top, only that will be selected. If I took off contiguous and click, everything that's white will be selected. So I don't want to color everything. So I'm going to take it on, put it on contiguous for this. Sometimes you do want that, but click. And then I'm going to shift click for the top and bottom. There are two separate shapes, top and bottom of that tank top. And then I'll just make this tank top black. So I'll go over here, clicking black, going to my paint bucket tool and filling it in. Oops, there we go. I have to do it on both sections. Okay, so now we filled that in. It's not a very nice job because it's a low resolution file, so you can see it doesn't look great. You could go in there and clean that up really carefully with the paint bucket tool, but for what we're doing, you don't really need that right now. So we have our painted area. We've practiced some other skills here. Let's work on typing. So if you file open, pick a speech bubble or banner or something you want to put some type in. And I'll do this one. And I'm going to drag this over if it ever works. Oh, I didn't have it. Never mind. Okay. I had it under transformation. I'm saying don't apply. Just go back to normal. Drag. Okay. That's really big. So I'm going to control. I have it selected. I'm going to Control T to transform. Drag, shift and drag. Shifting constraints proportions. If I don't have shift on, it will change this. So I don't want that. Escape will take it back to the original. Shift, drag, click and drag down. And now I have this, okay, for this sad looking person. So if I want to put some text on there, I just go over to my text box, click it. It's already black. So I'm just going to write, I'm just going to click in here, the beginning of what I would want. I'll just write something. Boo. Okay. This is too small. If I go back to the type tool and I double click, it should select everything. Triple click. I can change the font over here under, you can see all the different options, and it will kind of change as you go. You can see the different, what will happen. I'll just do that one. And then I want to make it bigger so I can adjust it over here. You can adjust it manually. I mean, you can enter whatever you want, and here we have this. Sad person. Okay, so we've got that, and okay, so what you're going to do, this assignment is to create a panel of 3 or 4 different, well, it's like a comic strip of 3 or 4 different panels with your avatars, and practicing the text boxes, using text and adding color, just like I did here. You can try different ways to add color, changing shapes, using shapes. And then I want you to try to Control T to transform a shape so that it doesn't have the same sizes. So let's go over to the rectangle shape over here. I'm going to put white on the foreground. I'll just create a little shape here. Okay, so now you have this just box. If you do Control T and right click, you'll see all these options. If you click on skew, you can actually change the corners like that. So now I have something that looks like it's a window in perspective maybe. And if I click enter, it's going to turn into that. It's going to apply my changes. So click yes. Then you can do different things to it. You could use the rectangle tool or the line tool, which is under the rectangle tool, to create different shapes. Let's make a little window here. I want to make it wider than that. See what happens if I do that. No, that's not doing anything. That's for the stroke, I guess. If I Control T and I drag it a little bit, I can make it a bit thicker. Okay, still not very thick. That's a bit disappointing. You can make it thicker by dragging. So let's do this. Make another one. Try to make it straight. Control T. That's a lot thicker. That's better. So I like that one better. Okay. You get the idea with that. One last thing for us to practice on for this project is typing on a path. So older versions of Photoshop didn't always have this pen tool. This is really familiar for people who have used Illustrator, but it makes paths with something that's called the Bezier curve. It's a mathematical curve, so it creates these vectors that you can scale them up and down, and they're really nice, but a bit tricky. Anyway, if you click on it, you can create a path. Let's make a curving path here. So if you click, I'll do that again so it's more obvious. Click on one side of this box and then click somewhere else and hold down and drag, and it's going to make these anchor lines, and that will determine the curve of your section. So I want it not to be super curved. We'll do more with these later, but for now I'm going to make a type on a path so I have some text that's curving. So I click Type tool, then I hover it over the edge. I hover it over this line near the beginning and click. And I'm just going to do Adventures in Photoshop. It's too big. It doesn't all fit. So what I need to do is double click or triple click and make this really small. Okay, it only did the part. I need to make it even smaller. Make it fit. Okay, Adventures 16. I'm going to have to keep doing this until it all shows. No, it's not going to fit. I need to make it quite a bit smaller. This is a weird text. Okay, Adventures in maybe you'll have more success than me in getting this to fit. I'll change my fonts here. Let's just do some random font. That looks kind of comic booky. Control A, make it like really pretty small. For some reason, I'm not able to get this to fit right now. So I might need to make a whole thing. We'll just say Adventures for now. You get the basic idea. You'll have to play around with this quite a bit to make it work well. I'm going to say 12 points. Okay. Okay, now that decided to show up. Delete. I'm going to delete everything I don't want there. So this is kind of going on. All right. Now I should make this person a bit happier. Or at least just curious. So you can make your own little story narrative, and the one that I kind of made before, you'll see it on our Google Classroom, but here it is. So I think that will take care of it for today.